Hello and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. We are your hosts, Chris and Philly, co-founders of a multi-award-winning functional medicine practice, serving busy people with energy, mood, and gut issues.
While busyness, addictive doing, people-pleasing, and perfectionism might be the norm, it's not normal, and it's a major contributor to health issues.
Our goal with this show is to give you a holistic root cause approach to healing your body so that you don't have to continue doctor or diet hopping or popping a gazillion supplements hoping something might stick.
So get ready to heal your body, get your spark back, deeply connect with yourself, and step into the life of your dreams.
Let's dive in. Welcome to this episode of the Ending Body Burnout Show. Philly and I are going to be ripping band-aids off today. We're going to be ripping off the labels, disconnecting ourselves with pre-existing labels that have been plonked on us. We're going to be talking about chronic illness labels and breaking free. You are not your diagnosis.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this because it's the norm attaching to labels, but it's actually keeping a lot of people stuck. So we're doing this podcast episode as a little teaser for our free live coaching event called Rewire the Brain to Heal Body Burnout. And part of rewiring the brain is actually learning how to disengage or detach from these chronic illness labels that can keep us sick. So if you really resonate with today's episode and you want to dive deeper into how to rewire your brain to heal body burnout, just head down to the show notes and you can join our event that's happening in September. And also, this is the deep work that we do with our clients inside our Ending Body Burnout Method. So yes, we're running lab tests. Yes, we're creating protocols. Yes, we're fast tracking healing by supporting the physical body. But you will not heal unless you unravel yourself from a chronic illness identity. And this is the thing that is missing in healthcare. So if you would love to dive deep into working with us to heal your body burnout, end your body burnout, doors do open in 2 weeks, which is super exciting because we only open doors 3 times a year. You can go down to the show notes, join the waitlist. If you're on the waitlist, it does mean that you do get first dibs on a spot. So our program includes one-on-one consults and coaching. So we do have to cap the amount of people that we allow into the program so we can serve you. So you get first dibs, plus you also get access to exclusive waitlist early bird bonuses if you join up in the waitlist period or the early bird period, which is 2 days before the doors open to the rest of the public. And those bonuses are worth over $500. That's definitely worth jumping onto the waitlist to score those.
Yeehaw. Okay, so have you ever been to a conference? This isn't in our show notes. I'm just throwing this to Philly. Have you ever been to a conference where you have to wear a name tag?
Yes.
It's like, my name is Philippa. My name is Chris.
Yeah.
Imagine if you walked into one of those things and you're just like, I am unable to heal because I am a chronic this, that, or the other ill person. And that's really what we're talking about today, isn't it? It's like you rock up to the game of life, to the conference of life, and you've been allocated you've been provided a diagnostic name tag, and it's really unhelpful to continue to wear those name tags. Now, there are a couple of name tags that or labels that we're not going to touch today. We won't talk about those, but the ones that we are going to talk about, it's like ripping it off and having something more empowering.
Yeah. So let's give you some examples of what we're talking about with these labels. And essentially the labels that are limiting are labels that either aren't true or you have a thing, but it's curable. You weren't born with it. You don't have to live with it for the rest of your life. You've developed it over time. It can be resolved. So when we attach onto certain labels as if it's truth, as if it is who we are, it's our name tag, it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You continue to perpetuate that. So some examples would be things like, I'm not a good sleeper. I have anxiety. I have Hashimoto's, I have chronic fatigue, I have endometriosis. So it's kind of like, these diseases or conditions or patterns of ill health. When you're using the word I am, I have, it is a sign that you have an unconscious identity attachment to that. Now, even things, and this is where things get a bit interesting, is when you enter the functional medicine space, it's like, so I have endometriosis, but I want to find out what body system imbalance is actually leading to that in the first place, which we help our clients with. But if you start attaching onto, again, another diagnosis, as if it is truth, as if it is who you are, I have SIBO, I have adrenal fatigue, I have perimenopausal symptoms, whatever it is. It sounds really subtle and it might sound insignificant, but it is wiring the brain to create more of that chronic illness and those symptoms that are attached to it. And it can be one of the biggest blocks to healing.
Okay, I got something about this. So it's nice. It feels nice to be understood by anyone. You walk down the street in, say, Bali, or we jump into a Grab in Bali, and I start talking in Indonesian to the Grab drivers, and their face lights up. They're understood. They feel like I'm hearing them, and the words that they say, I'm madly punching into ChatGPT to understand them. They feel good. Right. And so when we go through testing, even with our clients through functional medicine labs, or you go to the doctor and you get a diagnostic and it's like, hey, here's your name tag. Here's your label. It does feel really nice to be understood. And
I think it can be empowering. So we're not saying, so I'm not kind of getting lab test results back and saying, like, the graph on your SIBO results is showing that, I don't know, like I'm not walking or tiptoeing around the fact that SIBO is present in the small intestines. We're still using that language, and so it can be empowering from that point of view, because it can suddenly give you some answers. It's like,
it feels nice.
Okay, so the doctor said I had IBS, but all they gave me was a low FODMAP diet, and that didn't help. And then that's where it becomes confusing and disempowering, and it's like, well, I don't know where to go next. Then you start, doing the functional labs. It's like, 50% of cases have an underlying SIBO presentation. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I have SIBO. And so it can feel good because it gives you more answers, and it also gives you more avenues for healing. Like now we can start personalizing the healing for you. So we're not saying that labels are bad. It's just that they have a use by date. And when you go past the use by date, it actually prevents you from healing rather than gives you more avenues for healing.
Boom. Everything's okay till it's not.
Yeah. Just a couple of other labels too. So these ones are more, and I hear this so many times in initial consults. So when someone first starts working with us and they're having a connect the dots initial consult with me, I'm such a complex case. I'm the difficult one. I'm a write-off. So they're like just other labels that I would encourage you to be aware of if you're noticing that you're thinking them or you're saying them out loud. And there's very good reason why people start developing those labels, which will break down. Okay, so what's going on beneath the surface from a neuroscience, brain wiring point of view that leads to this attachment to labels and causes it to become an unconscious identity. So your brain is constantly trying to make sense of who you are and how you exist in the world. And this starts right back in infancy. And it continues as an adult. So a child before the age of 7, little sponges trying to like create their own identity, trying to make sense of who they are and how they exist in the world. And this continues until the day we die because we're sense-making creatures. So without an identity in the human body, in the human brain, in the human psyche, unconscious mind, there's chaos and uncertainty. So this is why we try and make sense of who we are at an identity-based level. Now, unfortunately, there's a tendency when you're burnt out, you're experiencing chronic ill health, that you start attaching onto chronic illness labels and begin to identify to them. Because, as Chris brought up before, it can feel good. and it can feel empowering, and it can give you answers, and it can make sense of the mess of the signals that are coming from your body. And so this is why we can start attaching onto these labels, and they become who we are, and you identify with them because we're sense-making creatures, and we need to make sense of what's going on in our body, in our mind, in our life, in our reality. So anytime you hear yourself thinking or saying, I am, or I have, you know, or I know, and maybe you're now learning, and you can choose to know this if you think it's helpful, that there is an attachment to the label. And at some point, this label might have felt like a nice, warm, fluffy jacket. I actually interviewed Erin Holt, the functional nutritionist, on our podcast. I think it was maybe a year or two ago. And so this little metaphor is from her, and I just love it so much. So it can feel like this nice warm jacket. It's like, I've got answers. I know what's going on. Now I've got more avenues for healing, more pathways that are personalized to me. But at some point it can become a too tight jacket. And at some point it will keep you stuck. And at some point, in order to continue your healing journey, to be free of your health symptoms, chronic illness, you do need to take the jacket off. So it's super normal. I don't want you to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm saying this all the time. I am, I'm too complex, blah, 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 blah. It's really normal. Like, this is the norm in human nature that we attach onto these labels, especially if you've had chronic symptoms. And it's rife in the medical and health industry. And in fact, the medical system and many health practitioners feed this as well. So it's like, oh, this is what you have on your lab test. You have SIBO. You have adrenal fatigue. And that language can become a feedback loop. And it can perpetuate and come from the medical system or the practitioner. So you're not broken, you're not weird, you're not the only one that this is happening to. It's just a way that human nature, the whole of human, the people in this world are trying to make sense of a mess. Are you going to say something?
Yeah. So this is the same with, we were talking about this off air, but DISC and Myers-Briggs. So you jump onto 16 personalities or whatever website and you do your Myers-Briggs or an Enneagram or something like that. And I think at that time that you do the test, you probably identify with one of those labels. But that doesn't have to be like those labels, those personalities don't have to be the same personality you'll take with for the rest of your life. You can, yeah. And there's now come at me with lots of opinions if you want to, but it's the same sort of thing. And I see a lot of people saying, no, this doesn't suit my personality, and they don't grow, they just stay. You know, it's the same sort of type of thing.
Yeah. And I know in the past when I've done personality tests, I think especially like in our marriage, because we always ended up being complete opposites on personality tests, it was actually really helpful at the time, because it's like, they're reading my mind. This is who I am.
Yeah, you feel understood.
Feel understood. They give you some strategies, some techniques to lean into your strengths and different strategies to overcome the weaknesses of the patterns. But here's where it can become limiting, is that you don't have to continue those patterns for the rest of your life. You could actually change and transform, and 10 years later you do the same personality test and you get something different. That's because of neuroscience or neuroplasticity. That's because our brain and our ability to change in every way, physiologically, emotionally, spiritually, you can continue to evolve for the rest of your life. You're not stuck with a pattern or a label. Another reason why people, especially if you are in body burnout, you've got chronic health issues, attach onto the chronic illness label as an identity, is because you have had a long string of trying to do the things but not seeing results. So over time, again, we're sense-making creatures. So if we choose to believe something about ourselves, our brain is looking for evidence. So over time, if you have tried but failed, you've tried but you haven't got the results that you want, your brain starts collecting a lot of evidence to concrete this identity of being broken, complex, difficult. Maybe my hormones are screwed. Maybe I just have to learn to live with it. Maybe I could never heal this SIBO, whatever it is. And so this is based on past experience and evidence collecting as well as to why you can then have a I am sick identity stuck in your unconscious mind, because you've developed a lot of evidence over time, and now it's kind of like not stuck in your unconscious mind in terms of you can't let it go, but it can get very hidden and very, very sticky unless you have the steps to unwire and rewire a new identity. It was actually very interesting. We had a client recently who in her very first consult, joined the Ending Body Burnout Method. In her very first consult, I lost track of the amount of time she shared her symptoms, her story, her case history, and then ended off with, I think I'm just a write-off. I'm just a write-off. And then always like getting my response back to it's like, am I a write-off? Like, can you help me? And so I reflected back to her that, like, not only have I heard you say that once, but it's now like 10 plus times. So this is deeply embedded in your unconscious mind, that this is at the core, a core identity-based belief. I'm a write-off. Now, it was very interesting. This actually isn't a happy news story, but early into her journey, she had some negative reactions to some supplements. Sometimes that happens. We just need to troubleshoot. We need to change up the plan. And she threw up her hands and quit early, as opposed to, leaning into coaching, leaning into what's actually going on inside her body. Maybe even this I'm a write-off is actually causing you to feel like, I reacted to the supplements, just another piece of evidence that I'm a write-off. Not even these natural things can help me. Okay, goodbye. I'll just have to learn to live with it. So this stuff is like happening underneath the surface, but it is dictating whether you will heal or not. And another reason why we get stuck with these labels, they get very sticky, is social reinforcement. So if you have had chronic health issues for a long time, maybe like months, even years, or even decades, people in your circle can start referring to you as a certain type of person, or maybe you're referring to yourself, about yourself to them as a certain type of person. So for example, with your family or with your friends, they kind of just get to know you as the sick person, the one that can't always make it to the things, the one that they have to tiptoe around their kitchen when they have you over at their house for dinner, and they have to make sure that there's no dairy, there's no onion, there's no salicylates. And so this social reinforcement, which often comes from love, it's like, oh yeah, you've got some special needs. Okay, I want to make sure that you still feel loved and accepted here. But it can actually, again, do a feedback loop to the brain that, oh yeah, I am the sick person, I am the ill person, I am the difficult person, I am the complex case, I am the one with the gut issues. So that's a really big one.
Or you find the forum of friends, you get the diagnosis.
That is going to be my top tips to start unwiring this, but keep going.
Yeah. And you find your friend, you jump onto Google, Dr. Google, and I've got my new label. Where are my fellow red labels? Where are my fellow blue labels?
Where's my PCOS Facebook group? Where's
all my people, put your hands up. Okay, yeah, I'll come over there. It's like at a conference, it's like all the people who speak your language, and you go hang out with those people. It's way easier to be understood when you hang out with people who speak that same sort of language as you.
Yeah, and some of those communities can be really helpful.
Super helpful.
Like, we have a program called Ending Body Burnout Method.
Right, yeah.
People are we use that language because people can put their hand up and say, I am so burnt out and my body is screaming at me. But the moment that we start healing, we're starting to unravel these labels, these beliefs that you have about your body. So yes, it can be helpful because you're with like-minded people, but there's a lot of toxic communities that come across as a lot of health industry, like even natural health industry communities that will perpetuate the chronic illness that you have because they're trying to really only solve things at a surface top level, but not at an identity-based level.
Yeah.
And there's, if it's low vibe, woe is me, victim mentality, I just want to be here so I can be heard about how crappy I feel and people love and accept me and tell me it's okay. You know how I feel. Again, like lovely. We're social human beings, so we want to feel that. But is it now becoming a too tight jacket? Do you need to like take off that jacket so you can start looking for new possibilities and new ways of healing?
We talk about identity so much within the Ending Body Burnout Method. We talk about identity. Identity is so powerful. When you can identify as some sort of way or some sort of thing, it's so powerful. It literally changes the cells in your biology. It changes so much. And so that's where we're saying this is the paradox of identity. It's ripping one label off so that you can heal and attaching another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Identity is so powerful. It's important.
Yeah. And there's a really cool model that we do use with our clients. It's called the Dilt's neurological level model. And if we apply this model into a healing space, it's very interesting. So basically, I don't know if you've got a picture while I'm talking about it to pull up on
I can find
YouTube.
one.
So essentially, it's a pyramid, and there's several layers in this model. On the bottom of the pyramid is the environment, followed by behavior, followed by capabilities or skills, followed by beliefs and values, followed by identity, followed by purpose. And so these are all these levels need to be aligned and in place in order for you to get the thing that you want, to become the person that you want to be. And so if we're talking about healing body burnout, ending body burnout, all of these things need to be in alignment in order to end your body burnout. Now, moving up the levels has been shown to create more powerful and lasting change. So yes, it's important to make sure your environment is dialed in and your behavioral pattern support healing and, the habits that you need to acquire. But when you tap into healing at an identity and a belief level, and even like really attaching onto your bigger purpose of why you're here on this planet, healing fast tracks big time. And so we're really helping our clients to really tap into this higher level of healing while also making sure that the other layers are dialed in as well. Unfortunately, most people, when they come to try and heal themselves, heal their body, whether it's from, some sort of chronic illness, body burnout, they will only tap into the bottom layers of the pyramid. So often people will only work on the environment, which includes the physical body. Like the physical body is your environment. Externally, it might be like, well, I get rid of toxins in my environment as well. And so then I'm going to be able to heal. And maybe I ditch all the processed foods in my kitchen cupboards and then I'm going to be able to heal. And most people will also work on behavior, capabilities, skills, knowledge. So it's like, okay, I've been given a treatment protocol. So I need to change my behavior so I can find a routine where I can take my supplements and eat the food and dial in my sleep hygiene. And I need to know some things. So, they get a bit of education. And these things are helpful and they are essential. But it is the reason or another major reason why people don't fully heal or why it's not long lasting, because they're not tapping into the higher levels of the neurological levels, that identity, the beliefs, which are essentially sit in your unconscious mind. And so then therefore you might feel a bit better or you might be able to stick to it for a while. But if unconsciously it's like, yeah, but we're broken. Yeah, but we have chronic fatigue. Yeah, but we're too complex. Yeah, but, things never work for us. Then at some point, what you believe unconsciously at an identity level is going to become the reality. So symptoms start popping up again, or you lose motivation and you lose the plot and you can't do the things that you are forcing yourself to do anymore.
This could be too late, but anyway, there's the pyramid.
So anyone who is on watching this on YouTube, there's the pyramid.
Yeah.
If you're watching it, listening to this on a podcast audio, you could also just Google Dilt's neurological levels.
Yeah. Yep. Or sometimes just called Dilt's logical levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the really, and often this is just because people aren't aware that you need to heal in all these layers and levels. And the sad thing is you could be putting in so much awesome work with your physical body and changing your behavior patterns. But then get frustrated why you're not getting that deep, true healing and transformation. So this is a great model. Okay, let's chat about some rewiring. Like, how do we rewire? How do we unravel, detach, disengage from these identity-based beliefs around chronic labels?
You got to know you got one on. You got to be aware.
Awareness, big one. Always going to be the first thing.
Everything always starts with awareness. Most of our transcending models, our growth models, will have some sort of an awareness piece at the start. So recognize your health condition as an identity. It's a crucial first step. So get to know that.
So get to know that. And I gave a couple of little clues early on. So if you're finding yourself thinking or saying, I am X condition or limiting belief, or I have, this is a sign that there's an unconscious identity attachment. And language is the purest form of knowing. So if you say it once, it might just be a little bit of just like, oh, I didn't actually mean that. But if it's a pattern, so if it's like, far out, now that I'm tuning into this and I'm becoming aware, I say this a lot. This is definitely a pattern. So when there's patterns of language patterns, it's always going to show what's stored as truth. And I do that in like little rabbit ears. What's that called? Quotation marks. Yeah. When the patterns show up, this is going to reveal what you believe to be true in your unconscious mind. Language, behavior never lies. Then the next step, and like the next two steps are really, we don't have the scope to talk about this on the podcast today, but I do want you to want to leave you with some really actionable, tangible things that you could implement straight away. But the next two steps are super important. So get to the root, what we call the root cause belief. What's the root cause belief underneath this attachment to brokenness or chronic illness, the things that are showing up in your behavior patterns, your thought patterns that are actually taking you away from healing rather than moving you towards. And when you can get to that deepest root, and this is where we're going beyond just saying I have SIBO or like I am a difficult case, there's going to be something even deeper, something really, really core at an identity level, which is often some sort of I am not enoughness, I am weak, I am incapable, I am unlovable. We've talked a lot about this on our podcast in previous podcast episodes. So that's what we're talking about in terms of getting to this deep root belief and really identifying when was the first time you accused yourself of that. So that's, number two, getting to that. And then mission number one is changing that root. And then all these other branch beliefs, stories, attachments will start to just disintegrate because the foundation is no longer there. And we will be diving into the deepest root cause belief in day 2 of Rewire Your Brain. And we're actually going to take you through some coaching steps as well. So if you would like to attend that free coaching week, just jump down to the show notes and you can register. And then next step is, and again, this is what we do very thoroughly, robustly with our clients inside the Ending Body Burnout Method is, all right, now it's time to rewrite, reimagine, rewire, not just the beliefs, but also the past events that are holding those beliefs in place. So there's going to be a bunch of memories. They might be traumatic. Often what we find is they're traumatic to the little child that experienced them, but they're what we would consider little t traumas. Things that happen to most children, but for whatever reason, it's got stuck in your unconscious mind because you had a lot of charged emotion around that time. So we're really wanting to rewrite, rewire, reimagine past distressing events that have emotional charge and release those. And it's often going to show up as stuck emotion and even physiological symptoms in the body. And the beauty of what happens as we do this is that you're instantly starting to rebuild trust and safety with yourself again, which is just going to mean that the default is, like I am a strong person. I am powerful. I am someone who can heal. I'm not that condition. I'm not that label because this is who I am. And it's who I've always been. I just forgot. I just had to take off those coat layers to find out who I am again. Anything else you want to add to that?
I like, as you were saying all the things, something that I was thinking about once, it was like, what were they? Rewire, blah, blah, blah.
Rewrite, reimagine,
not regurgitate the events of the past and, eat it all up again. That's not what we're making you do in this rewire thing. It's not about regurgitating the past events and the same old story so that you can eat it all up and again
continue the cycle.
Yeah, gross. Nah, just like if you regurgitated something up in food, it's gross, yuck. No, we're not about that. Rewire, rewrite.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, you were born without these beliefs. So even just holding on to that truth, I'm looking up at the ceiling right now because I'm like, maybe one day technology might get sophisticated enough that they can look into newborn babies' beliefs. But currently, what we know so far is that you're born a little sponge.
Little sponge.
So you're returning back to who you are, which is clean slate, pure potential, and you can darn well create whatever patterns, whatever beliefs, become whoever you want to be. And it's so possible. So possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to, just so you have some really tangible steps to take away too. Maybe you're not in the position to join the program, which does open in 2 weeks. Or maybe, you want to try some things first to just lean in. Does this work? Does this, all those little questions that you might have. So I'm going to take you through 4 steps of something that you can do as of today. And I'll use the example of anxiety. So an attachment at an identity level would be, I have anxiety. I am an anxious person. So when you hear yourself saying I am, I have, that's your awareness piece. And to start untangling from the untangling from the condition or the symptom, you can switch that to I'm experiencing anxiety symptoms. So this isn't toxic positivity. You're not just pretending that your current reality isn't there, but you're starting to untangle yourself from the label at an identity base. Oh, I am a person, a woman, a man experiencing some anxiety symptoms. And so already this starts to create more freedom because it helps the brain to detach from you at an identity level. And then the next step would be, to make this even more powerful, is start neutralizing the symptom or the pain or the illness by naming it just as a sensation. So next step would be, instead of just saying I'm experiencing anxiety symptoms, you could actually get more specific in terms of, what is the sensation that I'm currently experiencing right now that makes me feel like I'm experiencing anxiety symptoms. And this is we teach our clients in our Ending Body Burnout Method program to start using the word sensation, because for a lot of people that's really neutral. It's sensation, whereas symptom, because it's so prominent in the health industry, in the chronic illness space, has a lot of negative connotations. So that might sound like, again, if I'm using anxiety as an example, I'm experiencing a sensation in my chest right now. Because for some people, when they experience anxiety symptoms, it might feel like their chest is constricting, like they can't breathe properly. So this starts to neutralize the part of the brain called the amygdala, which is the fear danger part of the brain. It's always looking and scanning for danger. So when it starts hearing, it's almost like a pattern interrupt. When it starts hearing you saying, I am experiencing a sensation in my chest right now. It's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. I don't really know what that means, but it doesn't sound very scary. I am experiencing a sensation in my chest right now. That could actually be a really good sensation. But it's not toxic positivity. You're just diluting the power of the language that you were using that was locking it in as an identity, as a fixed issue.
As opposed to, like, you'll say you get heart palpitations, like, I'm going to die. Or I am... I hurt in my, like this sort of stuff. It's very limiting when you think like that.
Yeah. Third step. So even better than this. By better, I really just mean more effective. Like we're really utilizing what we know about the brain. Is start word swapping. So I am experiencing a sensation in my chest right now. When we use word swapping or when we're coaching our clients to create their own, we're actually directing the brain towards what we want. So an example would be, my chest feels less calm right now. So again, you're still experiencing what you're experiencing. You're not pretending that it's not there. But when you can start word swapping and say less calm, so you're wanting to find the word that helps you to feel what you want to feel instead of what you're currently feeling, and add the word less as an example, then again, the amygdala is just calming down by this point. And what it actually does is your brain is starting to look for more of that. So it's like calm. It attaches onto the descriptive word calm. Oh, we're doing calm now. Oh, okay. And we have so many clients, and this was a huge process that I did as well, like to really switch off histamine intolerance and symptoms that I was getting from that, sensations. That, when I started directing my brain towards what I did want to experience while still holding space for my current reality, far out, things fast-tracked with healing. It was so cool. And then the fourth step, the last step, if you were to choose to, go through this, is adding in some sort of somatic technique as well, so your body can feel safe. So you can send a feedback loop from your body to your brain to say that I'm safe now. I'm safe now, and you don't need to send these signals down to my body of danger. So somatic techniques might be like havening, breathing, accessing a safety anchor in your heart, and allowing your body to feel those emotions and sensations of safety, even swaying. So anything that you can do where your body feels safe and regulated will help to fast track that.
Pew, pew.
So hopefully those 4 steps are helpful. You could listen back to this section and just take your label, your condition, your symptom that you no longer want to have, and you could do the same thing for things like adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue, autoimmunity, fibromyalgia, body pain, IBS, SIBO, and run through the same thing.
Yeah.
And I've got, just to finish off, a few little additional tips just to fast track this, or to put it on steroids for great transformation.
Steroids of transformation.
So the more consistent you do this, the more consistently you can be aware of when you're saying the thing, or feeling the thing, or thinking the identity-based label. The more consistently you can do the rewiring technique that I just went you through, the faster you'll start detaching from it. So if you can only do it once a day or once a week, things will still start shifting, but it's going to be slower. If you can catch yourself 3 times a day, or maybe even 10 times a day, you're going to heal and transform so much faster.
I've been noticing a lot of success, this is in our show notes, this is 100 hours. It is a really good target. Get yourself to 100 hours of rewiring, or 100 hours of anything. And if you think about that over the course of 6 months, that's about 15 to 20 minutes most, if not every day of the week. So 15, 20 minutes, most, if not every day of the week, you're doing some sort of reimagining, rewiring type thing. That's going to help you to accumulate 100 hours total over the course of 6 months.
Okay. So if you did this 3 times a day then, because the whole process, it can be really quick. Like it'll get a lot quicker.
5 minutes,
but
3
even
times
if it
a
was
day.
5 minutes where at the end you're really like, you're breathing, you're swaying, you're using that word swapping. 3 times a day, set your alarm.
5 minutes.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And if you want to heal faster than 6 months, do it more.
yeah. Do it 5 times, 3 minutes a piece. Every in between every appointment you have, you do something like that. It's super possible.
I love that. Yeah. And you could also add in something like into your morning or nighttime routine where you're doing some sort of visualization or imagination work where you close your eyes and you really anchor into and remind yourself to focus through the day that you're going to practice this rewiring technique, and you richly imagine yourself doing it and it being successful. That will fast charge.
Fast charge.
Fast track.
Fast charging is a good one.
Fast charge it. And 2 other additional tips. So one, ask healthcare providers. So whether it's a naturopath, functional medicine practitioner, even a doctor, and also family and friends, to stop referring to you as an illness.
Oh, yeah.
So give them, and this is where you need to be the coach for them and retrain them to treat you in a different way. Give them the new language that will help them to assist you in rewiring. So I'll give you a really quick example. I had a pretty intense dairy allergy in the past. And I trained everyone, like my friends and my family, to not put dairy into the food when we're having social events so I can eat them. And it took, I don't know, maybe even a whole year for them to get to that point. But got to the point where they lovingly made the food that I could eat. Then I had to retrain them to, when I was letting go of my identity attachment to I'm someone who has a dairy allergy, I had to retrain them to start using dairy in the foods again, and just to stop talking to me as if like I had dairy allergies and my body was weak and broken. So, and yeah, it took a few months.
Fragile filly.
In the end, it's great for everyone because then they didn't have to restrict and I didn't restrict.
All right, we're running short on time on this episode, so let's tell you a little bit more about what's on the other side of this, and maybe give you an invite to our
Go for it.
Podcast.
Just go. Well, it's not the podcast.
Our event.
Free workshops.
Yeah.
So in September we've got the free Rewire Your Brain to Heal Body Burnout, where we're going to dive deeper into this topic, and we'll be looking at both the physical and metaphysical ways that we help you to rewire your brain to heal body burnout. So you can join that. And also, if you would really love and ready to dive deep into your healing and move from just consuming information to transformation, definitely jump down to the waitlist in the show notes and join the waitlist to our Ending Body Burnout Method.
Do it. It's going to be awesome. All right, guys. Hopefully we get to catch you there. Have a good one. See ya.
Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. If you'd like to give us extra smiles, drop us a review and spread the love by sharing this episode.
You can also rate your own state of burnout and the root cause contributors by taking our Ending Body Burnout Assessment on our website. And if you're interested in learning about our group or one-on-one Ending Body Burnout programs, shoot us a DM via Instagram or Facebook.
Have the best day ever.